I thought I had a pretty good immune system until I have a 1-year-old who regularly socialized. Until this winter, this brutal winter that all of our doctors said they have never seen one like this in each of their 20 plus years career. Having survived it, having spent quite a lot of money on doctors and ER visits, I have learned a ton. And I am sharing with you all the things I've learned along the way to help you be better prepared to handle this rite of passage while your little one's immune system is learning important things. Hi, my name is Tian. I make videos about my motherhood journey to hopefully help others along the way. If you like more mom tips, please be sure to subscribe. First of all, let's take care of you, mamas, because the last thing you need while taking care of a sick child is being sick yourself. The oxygen mask rule totally applies here. In our family, we always stock up on cold calm, cell salts, and oscillococcinum. Oscillococcinum. They are all over-the-counter remedies that I have linked down below. Before sharing how I take them, I must mention that this is not a piece of medical advice and you should always consult your doctors. This is just one mom sharing what had worked for her. So the key is to take them early. Homeopathic remedies are natural and gentle and our body is able to expel whatever it does not use. So I use them even if I'm not sure whether my scratchy throat is from a cold/flu or if it's from something else. Better safe than sorry. In the order of operation, I start with Cold Calm. I take 1 dose, which is 2 pills every 15 minutes for an hour. So 4 doses in the first hour, and then I take 2 pills every 6 hours or so. Usually after the first hour, I would know whether Cold Calm is the right remedy or not. It's important to take them strictly 15 minutes apart the first hour and not skip any doses. I usually set a 15-minute alarm on my watch to make sure I don't miss it. When you feel symptoms subsiding, stop taking them and let your body do the rest. If after a few hours Cold Calm doesn't work, I start taking cell salts. It targets a different set of profiles. I take these the same way as Cold Calm instead of the instructions given. So I take 1 dose, which is 1 pill every 15 minutes for an hour. And sometimes I continue taking them beyond the first hour, but I never exceeded 2 hours. At this point, after Cold Calm and cell salts, whatever it is should have been taken care of, but if things are still not improving, it's time to bring out the big gun. Oscillococcinum. I don't do burst with this. I just follow the instruction given on the package. So I take 3 doses per day. This one is especially helpful for anything viral. Think broadly, including stomach bugs. This together with Nux vomica, I have dodged some really nasty stomach bugs that haunted my family for a week. I got by with barely any symptoms, but just a few short hours of car seat-like nausea. The introduction to homeopathy is absolutely one of my greatest finds of 2022. I would even say it is the greatest, because it has nipped so many sicknesses in the bud for me. And even if I haven't started taking them as early as I should, it helped me get over things so fast with minimal symptoms. The last time I was full-blown sick was December 2022. Yeah, it was right around Christmas. So that's a solid 7 months ago. Being mentally prepared is almost harder than the sickness itself. So Zion had never been sick the first year of his life, despite being exposed to colds and flu and even the Big C twice. We moved from Georgia to Colorado in September 2022. That is right around the time when Zion turned 1, and boom, he started getting sick every 2 weeks, back to back. As soon as he's all better for a few days, boom, the next one catches up. So I knew about kids getting sick often, but prior to this, I always thought we could be the exception. Perhaps if I feed my child the right stuff, if they get enough outdoor time with the sun, or if they sleep well, they will have good immunity. I was hit hard learning that these common colds and flus and viral infections are really just a rite of passage for our little ones while their immune system is learning how it works. I could be doing all the right things and still they get sick. This is just how their immune system learns. It needs the exposure, the drills, and all the little victories to slowly build up the immune system that will serve them a lifetime. I remember Zion's pediatrician saying to us that one day we're gonna look back at this phase and we're going to be so thankful. I mean, it sounds really impossible when you're going through it. However, the more older parents we talk to, the more we realize that, oh, this might just be true. They're able to testify that some of their children have been so sick so often when they're little and they grow up to never get sick. Even if this does not make going through it easier, but I hope that this gives you some hope. I think as parents, we want to protect our child at all times from all harms, but it's just impossible. And if anything, we probably shouldn't. So when winter comes, stay flexible and be ready. Prepare for some unexpected change of plans in order to take care of your babies first. And speaking of, let's talk about actually taking care of your sick child. There are tons of tips on how to take care of sick children, but I have learned across all sicknesses, some common necessities apply always. First thing first, hydration, hydration, hydration. I cannot emphasize this enough. So hydration means not just water, but water with electrolytes and minerals. So think bone broth, juice, popsicles. You want your child to get enough electrolytes, which they lose a lot through sweating, vomiting, and diarrhea. I always prioritize bone broth because it is so nourishing. It's got so much vitamin and minerals and electrolytes. And it's also full of collagen, which helps keep them full, especially when they don't have a lot of appetite. So when Zion does not have appetite, I never force food on him. I have learned that the loss of appetite is actually a very natural and sometimes necessary healing element. Our body needs to conserve energy from digestion and use that towards fighting the infection. So I learned from a lot of doctor's visits that they're really not so concerned the first few days when they're sick and don't have appetite, but they're always more concerned about hydration. My doctors have always told me that as long as Zion has wet diapers, he is okay. But you should always stay in close touch with your doctors to make sure that your child is actually okay. But more on that later. I remember a chapter from The Life-Giving Home by Sally Clarkson. Her adult children basically remember the sick days as days where they receive much comfort and grace. What I got from that chapter is that the memory of the sickness fades, but the feeling of being loved and cared for remains. So in the beginning of this season of a lot of sicknesses back to back, I was honestly a pretty grumpy person. I was not happy to have my plans thrown out of the window and suddenly have to change plans all the time. I can't plan anything. I either take it out on my husband or I clean excessively. I made everyone miserable. At one point I just decided that, you know what, the illness is miserable enough, let's not do more to it. And I decided to learn to go with the flow a little more. If the house is a mess, let it be. If we're ordering takeout again and we're not eating healthy again, we'll just let it be. One meal is not gonna kill us. Moms, you have that power. You can not only survive this, but you can use these difficult times as chances to define your family culture, to practice how you'll face obstacles as a family. Our babies can feel a lot. They can feel our mental state. Over time, I learned to give Zion the care and comfort that he needs whenever he's sick, and that means unlimited contact naps, attending him whenever he cries in the middle of the night instead of setting on a timer, if you know what I mean. Unlimited screen time. Absolutely no cap. As someone who loves a clean and functional space, I am less and less rigid about orderliness. Especially after I realized that there will always be more stuff to clean. And if I don't set a hard boundary on how much I'm going to do, I will always be cleaning. There will be no time for the actual important things. Learning to uphold that boundary is so important when your little one is sick, so that you're not drowning in the tension that you feel of trying to get the house in order as well as taking care of your child. It'll free you up to prioritize being present with your baby while they're not feeling so well and really need you. The third tip here is to give yourself more grace while you're figuring out what it's like to take care of a sick child, especially when you are a first-time mom. You're just getting to know your kid. It might take a few time for you to develop an intuition. I remember how terrifying it was when Zion first ran a fever. It was horrifying. I had zero reference. The tried and true way is to stay in close touch with your pediatrician, especially when your baby is young. Googling can really send a mom into a spiral of fear and anxiety, and I'm saying that because it had happened to me. It is more work and more costly to visit a doctor, but it's worth it to get to know your child, and in no time you're not going to need to go to doctors as often because you have references and you know your child better. Now that we've talked about how to take care of you and your child, I'll throw in a bonus tip, and that is how to ask for help. If you've seen my previous videos about how I crash landed into motherhood, you will know how hard it is for me to learn to ask for help. Initially, I thought, well, I have a sick child at home. It's not like anyone can come and hold my sick child for me. No one deserves to get what we have. How's everyone gonna help us? And I was wrong. I learned over time that there are many ways that people can help you in those times. First and foremost, ask for meals. Whenever your family is coming down with something, tell your friends, hey, we need some help with meals. Can you please send some food over the course of the next few days? Or ask them to help you pick up groceries. And on that note, if you have not started it, I would highly recommend that you batch cook things on a good day and freeze them for a rainy day. I have the habit of batch cooking on Thursdays and Fridays. I will usually double the portion of the recipes in order to have more leftovers to last us through the weekend. That way I don't feel like I'm cooking all week. Sometimes if I still have extra, I will freeze them up so that when sick days happen, I can just pull it out of the freezer and we have meals ready to go. For difficult days like that where I need to be really present with my family, with my child, the last thing I need on my mind is what do we put on the table for dinner? The other cool way for friends to help is when your kids start feeling better and they're able to go out and socialize, it might be worth it to ask your friends if they could take your child for an afternoon so that you could get some time to yourself. That way you can at least change out the sheets that you've been living in for the past few days, jump in the bath, have an uninterrupted time to yourself while the pile up laundry is finally up and running again, and let the Roomba run free without a toddler harassing it. It'll give you a breather and just a chance to reset a little bit. We're not talking about a full-blown cleanup. Please do not do that. I do not recommend it. Just some simple pickup is going to make a world of difference. I highly recommend that you watch this TED Talk by Casey Davis called How to Do Laundry When You're Depressed. It'll help you get a visual on how to have a functional space when you're completely drowning. So that's a wrap. I hope after this video, all of us are a little more prepared next winter, mentally and practically, to take care of our little ones. Please give this video a thumbs up and let me know in the comments below if you can relate to anything I shared. And if you have any good tips, please leave it in the comments below too so we can all learn from each other. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.